Welcome back to The Explainer. You know, today we're actually peeling back the layers of a land that holds ancient secrets that have genuinely baffled scientists for over a century. We're exploring a territory where history isn't just sitting neatly under glass in some museum, it's literally jutting out of the earth, it's encoded in stone, and it is buried deep beneath the soil. So honestly, answer this for me. What comes to mind when you hear Pakistan? For most of us, our immediate thoughts are pretty much shaped by the daily news cycle, right? We think of high mountain peaks in the north, perhaps complex geopolitical maneuverings, or, modern nuclear capabilities.
Okay, let's dive into this because there is just a massive disconnect here between modern geopolitics and these staggering 9,000-year-old mysteries. Beneath the soil of this region lies a cradle of civilization that's actually older than the first Egyptian pharaohs. We're talking unread scripts and utterly unexplainable mass deaths. Our goal today is to look at 5 specific anomalies that science simply cannot explain.
All right, case file 1, the Mohenjo-Daro deaths. Now this is a story with honestly one of the most inexplicable endings in human history. Mohenjo-Daro was an absolutely astonishing place. It was this incredibly advanced metropolis, sprawling over an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Around 50,000 people lived here at a time when most of humanity was still scattered in these tiny, rudimentary villages. They had wide, straight streets and a sewage system that 19th century European cities would have been deeply envious of. But what's truly bizarre about it? There were no palaces, no royal tombs, no grand monuments to rulers, and absolutely zero depictions of war or execution. It was, by all accounts, a seemingly peaceful, completely egalitarian society.
So here is the crucial point. When British archaeologist John Marshall and later teams started digging in the upper excavation layers, they found exactly 44 human skeletons. And they weren't neatly buried in graves, they were lying directly in the streets of the city.
But look at what was missing here. This is a classic negative space mystery. Men, women, and children just dropped completely dead while going about their daily business. Some were literally found holding hands, 2 were found frozen in this posture of desperately trying to crawl up a set of stairs. Yet there are no weapons. There is zero signs of struggle or a siege. They obviously didn't die in a flood because the bodies weren't washed away. And despite those wild 1970s theories about ancient nuclear warfare from flying chariots, official reports confirm there is absolutely zero evidence of radiation. They just dropped dead instantly, and the city was never, ever inhabited again.
Moving on to case file 2, the unread indescript. You see, the people of Mohenjo-Daro took the secret of their demise straight to the grave, leaving behind an incredibly frustrating puzzle. Just think about this timeline for a second. Egyptian hieroglyphs, deciphered back in 1822. Linear B, the language of the Mycenaean Greeks, cracked in 1952. The indescript, completely 100% unsolved. For over 100 years, the greatest linguists, cryptographers, supercomputers, and modern machine learning algorithms have entirely failed to crack this code.
And you want to know the infuriating reason why? 5. That is the incredibly low average number of symbols found on any given indicial.
And this perfectly illustrates our deciphering dead end. We have over 4,000 inscriptions and about 400 distinct signs, which proves, through statistical computer analysis, that it is a real language with a grammatical structure. But we have no Rosetta Stone to offer us a bilingual translation. And the absolute longest text we've ever managed to find is a mere 26 symbols. Without long texts or repeating paragraphs, it's virtually impossible to decode the grammar of a completely dead language. So whatever they wrote, whether it was laws, prayers, or maybe even a warning of what killed those 44 people, remains entirely silent.
Okay, case file 3, the oldest dentistry in Mehrgar. Now, what's really interesting about this is we're taking a massive leap back in time, 9,000 years to the Balochistan province, fundamentally rewriting the timeline of human medical history. Just take a second to process the sheer scale here. In 1728 AD, Pierre Fauchard over in France published the first systematic text on dental surgery, which marked the birth of modern dentistry in Europe. But way back in 7500 BC in Mehrgar, Pakistan, which is, by the way, 6,000 years before Stonehenge was even built, people were actively practicing clinical dentistry. That is a jaw-dropping 9,200-year gap.
As detailed in a 2006 publication in the journal Nature, archaeologists uncovered 11 molars belonging to 9 adults. Now, these teeth had perfectly round holes with smooth edges, explicitly drilled to remove decayed tissue, cavities basically. They did this using these tiny specialized flint tools. And remember, this was 9,000 years ago. There was zero anesthesia.
Amazingly, the wear patterns on the teeth actually prove that these patients survived these agonizing repeat procedures and continued to chew with those very teeth for years afterward. The procedure worked.
Next up, Case File 4, The Great Wall of Sind.
We're traveling now to the unforgiving Kirthar Mountains to look at an architectural anomaly that literally defies logic. To really grasp the sheer baffling impossibility of this structure, consider this. The famous medieval walled city of Carcassonne in France has a fortress perimeter of about 3 kilometers. The Ranikot Fort's perimeter, 32 kilometers. It is 10 times larger. It's the largest fort in the entire world, featuring walls up to 10 meters high, massive gates, and regular watchtowers. It's so big you can only fully appreciate its colossal shape from the air.
But here are the true Ranikot anomalies. Despite this massive 32-kilometer protective wall, there's absolutely no major city inside it. It doesn't protect a strategic trade route, it doesn't guard a critical water source. It was built out in these rugged mountains where summer temperatures routinely hit 50 degrees Celsius. And the timeline is a mess. Carbon dating on some of the mortar points to the 15th to 19th centuries, but then inscriptions found on the bedrock point way back to the 1st to 5th centuries. The official scientific community honestly has no idea who built it or why. In fact, local villagers will simply tell you that the fort was built by invisible spirits or jinns in a single night, mostly because no human would build a massive wall to protect absolutely nothing.
And our final mystery, Case File 5, The Burning Earth of Balochistan.
Now, this one isn't some ancient artifact. It is a terrifying, living phenomenon happening right now in one of Pakistan's most sparsely populated regions. Deep beneath the mountains of Balochistan lie these massive coal seams, and in several areas, the earth is quite literally on fire. We're talking underground coal fires that have been burning, completely unextinguished, for decades, and in some spots, for centuries. If you walk there, the ground is searing hot to the touch. The air smells intensely of sulfur and burning rock. At night, the cracks in the earth literally glow this dull, eerie red-orange. And yet, unlike in Western countries where similar fires prompt immediate, total evacuations, local miners here continue to descend daily into these blistering hot, toxic shafts to work. They just face the constant looming threat of lethal gas and collapse.
The local elders actually capture this reality so beautifully, yet chillingly. They say, the fire was always here, as long as ancestors remember. To the people living right alongside it, it's not some geological disaster to run away from. It's simply a part of the landscape. It's like a river or a mountain to them. It's just the earth heating itself, an endless, unquenchable inferno born right out of the very bones of the region.
Which kind of brings us to the big picture here. 90%. That is the staggering amount of all known archaeological sites in Pakistan that remain entirely unexcavated. Not because there's nothing left to find, but simply because there aren't enough resources, people, or access to uncover it all.
So, we've just looked at 44 unexplainable deaths, a totally uncrackable script, flint tool dentistry from 9,000 years ago, a 32-kilometer wall defending absolutely nothing, and earth that just burns forever. History in this region is absolutely a buried vault. It is not a settled book. So, I leave you with this question. Which of these 5 mysteries hooked you the most? Think about what else might be waiting just inches beneath the soil, waiting for its turn to rewrite human history. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what you think you know.